So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our offseason rebuild series, and today it's going to be the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors season ended in round 2. That was at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Of course, there was some exigent circumstances because Steph Curry got hurt in game 1. Now, I am not here to play the hypothetical police. I have no idea if the Warriors would have beat Minnesota with or without Steph Curry. Of course, it did not happen, and that's why we're here doing the offseason rebuild today. You're more than welcome to discuss that in the comment section. Thinking about the Warriors, looking at this roster, really the reality of their situation is that it feels like they're still one or two kind of big moves away. Of course, made the deadline deal, acquiring Jimmy Butler, extended him. He was certainly helpful until he wasn't, really, when Steph was out. So my goal today is to continue adding to this thing and hopefully getting this team and franchise another championship. Now, as always, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. Of course, always open to anything and everything. At this time, we are slowly but surely getting to the end of the offseason rebuilds. Of course, we're going to redo all of this once the actual offseason does come around. So we're going to have more of those to do. I know we have pre-draft prospect rebuilds. We have LeBron era rebuilds, rebuild challenges. So much to do these days. If there's anything you really want to see, let me hear it down below. But as of today, we got the Warriors offseason. It's going to be 3 off seasons, 3 regular seasons as it always is. Let's get into it. Now here in offseason number 1, let's go ahead and do a quick overview of this roster. Of course, the best players on this team are a bit older. A lot of them are experienced. The majority of them have won championships, but of course there is still a move or two needed in order to get this thing done. So starting out here at the point guard spot, in my opinion, the greatest point guard in the history of basketball, that being 37-year-old at 96 overall, Steph Curry. I would love to get Steph one more if it's possible. I don't know what moves it's going to take. It's probably going to piss a lot of Warriors fans off when I do make them, but my goal is strictly getting Steph Curry another championship here today. So hopefully he doesn't retire. Hopefully there's no crazy regression. Again, he's the best shooter of all time. He's the greatest point guard of all time, in my opinion. I'd like to get him one more. Clearly, there needs to be an upgrade at the backup point guard spot. Pat Spencer looks like he should be selling me insurance. He does not look like he should be a backup point guard behind Steph Curry. Now, ultimately, maybe he ends up eventually becoming an okay NBA player. Here in 2K, he's 29 years old and a 69 overall. That's certainly not going to cut it for me. The shooting guard spot. More often than not, it helps when the shooting guard can shoot. Brandon Pajemski, probably not going to be a long-term option for me at the starting 2 guard. Now, it's certainly possible he ends up coming off the bench for the vast majority of this video, but we'll see. I'm not huge on pods. I know the Warriors were at one point and probably could have gotten a decent thing for him last offseason, and unfortunately they ended up holding on to him, and now that value seems to be a bit lower. Buddy Hield is here. He's on a multi-year deal at 32 years old. Can certainly still give you something. I feel like there's random games where Buddy Hield just completely goes off, and there's other games where he's either a complete brick or totally invisible. So we'll figure out what we want to do with Buddy. Again, we're going to likely see some pretty significant regression there. The small forward spot, certainly an area where we do need to find an upgrade. I think Moses Moody's a nice piece that can be in the rotation long term. I just don't see him as a starter on a championship team. Gary Payton II, of course, veteran player, 32 years old, can certainly still give you something night in and night out, but probably not a 3-year piece. And then Gay Santos is here as well. I don't really know at this point, man. The Warriors have such an interesting young core because there's really nobody in that young core that I think is going to be a star in this league. Fine rotation pieces. The Warriors' development is obviously fantastic. I don't really know. The power forward spot. Jimmy Butler currently listed as a power forward. Whether or not we have multiple things we can do with Jimmy. We can keep him at the power forward spot. We can move him to small forward. We can trade him. I know how his regression works, so I'm thinking about this logically and trying to get the best possible team around Steph. So we'll see what we want to do with Jimmy here today, but he is 35 years old, and of course, we do expect a little bit of regression, but he got his payday as he wished once he got traded to the Golden State Warriors. Jonathan Kuminga is an interesting one because he's going to be a restricted free agent this offseason. It's not often here in 2K that I do anything major in the sign-and trade department, but many people are suggesting that as a real possibility this offseason, and maybe it's something I consider here today, especially when we see how much money he could ask for. Not much to say about Fortnite Boy over there. And then the center spot. Draymond Green's one of the best defensive players ever. I don't think leaving him at the starting center spot is, the best idea in the world. I think there were some teams, especially the Houston Rockets, where I think it did work well. Unfortunately, I think there are just too many talented big men, especially in the Western Conference, to leave a guy who's 6'6" at the center spot. Behind him, Quentin Post could be a rotation piece. Kevon Looney, obviously longtime Warrior, backup center, occasionally starting. And then TJD, who is the fourth, and final center. So that's the team, man. That is the team. Steve Kerr, I know there's some varying opinions from Warriors fans on him. At this point in time, he used to feel like he was very loved, and it feels like these days that seat is getting a bit warmer as the years do go on. So I don't think the Warriors have their first-round pick this year. I'm almost positive it belongs to the Miami Heat. They do not. We're not going to go ahead and force our way into the draft. Pods and Santos both going to be brought back. Kuminga, of course, will be qualified with nobody else receiving that offer. And then we approach free agency here where we have a couple guys. I might have a couple trades. I have absolutely no idea why the Detroit Pistons are willing to do this, but I'm going to say thank you and accept the trade. Now, Draymond Green, as I mentioned, is not only one of the greatest defensive players in Warriors history, but one of the greatest defensive players in the history of basketball. Now, unfortunately, that impact and his impact as a whole is never really felt here in 2K. So we're going to make a deal here, get a little bit younger, get a major upgrade at a really, really big position for us in Jalen Duren. So thank you. Welcome to the team. Pulling off a deal here with the Indiana Pacers. The Jimmy Butler era in Golden State is over. It was a short one, and it is one that I think Warriors fans were probably happy about at the time, and maybe they'll be happy about it in the near future in real life. Here in 2K, I know how Jimmy works. He's going to continue to regress. He'll probably be an 84 overall by the time next season kicks off. And of course, even after that, we still have 2 years to go. So I'm getting out while his overall is still pretty good. We're going to pick up Pascal Siakam from the Indiana Pacers, a 1-for-1 swap that I think makes a lot of sense for me. Not really sure why the Pacers are doing it, but once again, thank you very much. We are re-signing 2 major free agents for us, one being Jonathan Kuminga, 4 years, $103 million. The second being Gary Payton, the second 3 years, roughly $22 million. I'm going to let Kevon Looney walk. Ultimately, we have enough big men at this point in time. He's not a bad player. I'm fine having him as the backup center, but we have 2 other guys there that I think are probably better options moving forward. So I do think that Jonathan Kuminga is a likely sign and trade candidate for me, as we touched upon just a few minutes ago. I'm not necessarily going to get a superstar for him, but I think we can find something that makes sense. I have no idea if the Utah Jazz would be willing to do this, but if they are, I'd certainly like to say thank you. We are offering Buddy Hield, Quentin Post, and Guy Santos, and in return, hoping to land ourselves Colin Sexton. Now, we're not absolutely loaded in the draft capital department, but if I have the capital and the draft picks to get this done, I'd certainly be willing to do it. So we have some picks. Again, I have to be kind of careful with what I give up here because I don't want to completely give up. Okay. 2 first-round picks, adding Colin Sexton to this team. I think that's a nice upgrade here in this starting 5. So Pods will remain the backup shooting guard. Still need to find a backup to Steph. I'm actually going to hang on to Kuminga. You move him to the small forward spot. Not only does he jump 2 overalls, but I do think his progression will end up being pretty decent. So I'm not saying this is a 3-year thing, but if he can slide in for 1 season, do some things well, boost that trade value, I think it's going to be a good move for us. And then I know I re-signed Gary Payton and didn't really need him, I guess, at this point. So Moody and Kuminga are going to be the 2 small forwards. Payton can be, a trade piece eventually. But need to find ourselves a backup power forward as well. Well, I mean, I could. Moody's only 6'5". Like, there's not a world out there where I can maybe move him. Yeah, no, that's not happening. And then, okay. I need to find some backups here. They're not going to be great options, pretty much no matter who I sign here. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Call it a fake sign and trade. Call it whatever you want. But I'm actually going to flip Gary Payton. There's really no point in for me to hang on to him just because I have other needs out there and I'm trying to be, somewhat realistic. So I think Scottie Pippen Jr. could make some sense behind Steph Curry, of course. Ooh, Rui Hachimura. Is he expiring? He is, though. I see Klay Thompson, an old friend, probably not going to go down that road. And then let's just see what I'm really liking here. All right, we're going to take the deal here from the Memphis Grizzlies, pick up Scottie Pippen Jr., a really solid and reliable backup point guard option for us. And then we're going to go ahead and sign, I don't know, who are the other options here at the power forward spot? Mo Gay. I actually don't hate that just because he's relatively young. So Mo Gay, bring him in on a 2-year deal. I'll see you guys at the start of year 1. We are now ready for our first season here in Golden State. Of course, a really busy offseason I think resulted in a major upgrade in terms of this team in general. Are they a championship team? I guess we'll find out. Steph Curry, who's still 95 overall, Colin Sexton, Jonathan Kuminga, Pascal Siakam, Jalen Duren, bench unit, Brandon Pajemski, Scottie Pippen Jr., Moses Moody, Trace Jackson Davis, and Mo Gay rounding out the 10-man rotation. So, I do think we're easily a playoff team. I am hoping that we're at the point where we can actually compete for a championship, even if that does not mean we win one. But we're getting close, and closer every year is really the goal. See you guys at the end of the first season. Year 1 comes to an end, and we go 54-28. All things considered, not that bad. I think we ended up as the 3 seed in the Western Conference. We'll know momentarily. Anthony Edwards is your MVP, the former number 1 overall pick. Cooper Flagg did go number 1 overall to Dallas. He wins Rookie of the Year. Julius Randle, now a Los Angeles Clipper, winning 6th Man of the Year. Giannis wins DPOY. Khalil Ware wins Most Improved. I can't fucking speak. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Clutch Player of the Year, and 65-17 gives Chris Finch Coach of the Year. So we're the 4 seed. You saw it right there. We are somehow battling with the 51-win Oklahoma City Thunder in round 1. That doesn't really seem fair, but it is what we find ourselves with. Here are the numbers across the board for this team. Points per game, Steph Curry, Pascal Siakam, Colin Sexton. You got Kuminga, Duren, Pippen, Pajemski, Moody, TJD, and Moguet. All right, rebounding department was Duren, and then assists is Steph Curry. Round 1, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Again, not sure how this is a 51-win team, but they are, and this is now what we have to deal with. So here goes nothing, man. We split the first 2 on our home floor, lose Game 3 on the road, and Game 4. We force Game 6. We force Game 7. We win Game 7. The Thunder blew a 3-1 lead to the Warriors. Stop me if you've heard that one before. Now on to the 60-whatever win Minnesota Timberwolves. They've added Josh Giddey to play next to Anthony Edwards. This would be a hilarious duo. Jaden McDaniels, Santi Aldama. You got Rudy Gobert, Rob Williams in there, Rob Dillingham as well. All right, are they better than us? It's certainly possible. Let's see what happens here. We are 2-2 right now. We go up 3-2. They force Game 7. We lose Game 7. Disappointing end, man. When you're up 3-2, you always like to think you can get it done. Not a great series out of Siakam. Not a great series out of Kuminga. Oh, boy. Yeah. All right. I mean, not a horrible ending. I mean, second round ending feels somewhat like our ceiling. I mean, maybe this team could have gone to... What the fuck? Give me a break, 2K. All right, well, it is time here for the final offseason. Oh, no. Not the final offseason, excuse me, offseason number 2. Well, it may end up being the final offseason, because if Steph Curry is going to retire, there's really no point in this video anymore. So, this might be it. We might have to push all our chips in the middle. Again, I don't love doing 2-year rebuilds. Of course, the Lakers get number 1 overall. But I might not have another choice. I mean, I could do a season without Steph, but it's not going to result in a championship, so what's really the point? All right, we have the 26th overall pick. I'm going to use it to select somebody. Flory Badunga. Sure, I don't really know. Damn, Steph, really? Come on, man. Pajemski, TJD, both going to be brought back. Qualifying Jalen Duren, going to be a restricted free agent, of course. Have to make sure we get him back along with Colin Sexton, but damn, man. Damn. All right, we are definitely in the market to make a major trade or two. Oh, I did not think the Atlanta Hawks would take that, but we found ourselves a nice upgrade at the shooting guard spot. Sexton, Badunga, TJD, and a first-round pick, and now Dyson Daniels as a Golden State Warrior. We are in need of a new backup center, so we're going to be signing Jock Londale to a 2-year, $8 million contract. Now, I have exhausted all options. I have spent significant time looking for ways to upgrade this small forward spot, and unfortunately, there's no trade out there that's possible, at least with the assets I currently have. So, hoping Jonathan Kuminga can continue to develop and really kind of just give me a little bit more heading into a likely championship or bust year number 2, which could end up being the final season. Making a deal here at the start of year number 2 with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jonathan Kuminga, who's overall really just hasn't moved. We're sending him out, and in return, we're going to pick up Jaden McDaniels. So, obviously a really, really stout defensive player. Kuminga just hasn't really done much for me in this video. So, Jaden McDaniels, welcome to the team. That's going to be the final move. So, let's go ahead and set this rotation. Potential final season is here for us in Golden State. Here's how the rotation shook out. Steph Curry, Dyson Daniels, Jaden McDaniels. So, 2 really, really nice defensive additions in this starting 5. And then still got Pascal Siakam and Jalen Duren. Brandon Pajemski, Scottie Pippen Jr., Moses Moody, Mo Gay, and finally Jock Londale, rounding out this 10-man rotation. So this is probably going to be the final season because Steph Curry is likely calling it a career, and I'll see you guys at the end of it. 70-12 ends up being the final record for us here in Golden State. So the moves we made were risky, but it seems like they have paid off. Nikola Jokic, another MVP. Cam Boozer, Rookie of the Year. He's a Detroit Piston. Speaking of Pistons, Josh Giddey, your 6th man. Wemby wins Depoy. Devin Carter, Most Improved. Jokic, Clutch Player of the Year. And Steve Kerr, Coach of the Year. All right, well, is it time for another championship here in Golden State? Holy shit, relegate this entire conference. We are at the point where, oh my God, Steph Curry, 29 points a game, and the man's about to retire. It's insane. Obviously, we brought in a lot more defensive-oriented players that I think really ended up benefiting this team, but if this is it for Steph, man, let's go ahead and do this thing. Oh boy, here are the Lakers. Oh joy. Oh boy. Don't do this to me in round 1. All right, we are currently up 3-1 against the Los Angeles Lakers. We win in 5. Now moving on to the San Antonio Spurs, who are just as big, if not even bigger, of a pain in the ass to face, because Wemby is an absolute demon at this point in time. Well, he's always been a demon, to be fair. We're up 3-1 right now. They win game 5. We win the series in 6. And oh, baby, here comes 2K's favorite, the Dallas Mavericks. There's really no easy series in the Western Conference here. Not one whatsoever. So, Western Conference Finals. We are currently up 3-1 against Dallas. Don't blow a 3-1 lead. 2K, thank you. And we are running back the 2022 Finals. Let me tell you, as a Celtics fan, man, I am Still in pain. At least we got one, man. All right, here are the Celtics. They've made some nice additions, especially to that bench unit. Let's see if we can have a similar result to 2022. And we're up 3-0 right now. We're going to head into TD Garden for Game 4 and maybe sweep the Celtics out of their own building. Let's see if we can get this done here and cap off Steph Curry's career with a championship. It looks like we are going to be able to do that. We currently have a 14-point lead here in Game 4 at TD Garden, of course, on the verge of our first championship of this video, but certainly not the first of Steph Curry's career. If this is truly it for him, man, very, very happy. We're going to be ending it for him on a high note. Jaylen Brown going to miss that mid-range. And we're just going to try to see what we can do here with Steph Curry, going out with 28 damn points. No, oh my God. Oh my God. Make that 31, my friend. Steph Curry still haunting the Celtics in their own building. All right, man. There's not really much else to say at this point. Obviously, the Warriors are in for an interesting offseason. I think we all know that they're, maybe pipe dream would be like a Giannis deal. I just don't see the Warriors having the assets. What the hell was that? I don't see the Warriors having the assets to get Giannis, because if he does, end up on the trade block, I think there are teams with significantly better young players, better trades, or better draft picks. And I just think overall wise, they won't be able to put together the best package. But, I doubt it'll stop them from trying. But, other names for the Warriors, I don't know if they'd still be potentially interested in Kevin Durant. I don't really see that at this point in time. Kevin Durant made it pretty damn clear near the trade deadline. He didn't have much interest in going back to Golden State. So, wherever they go, I do think they're still a piece or two away. End of the day, a lot of their younger players are kind of 50-50 in my opinion. Like, you don't know if they're players you want to keep long-term and extend and kind of be the future of your franchise, but you also know that you don't want to give them up for nothing. So, kind of a breaking point for the Warriors this offseason in so many different ways. But I truly do hope we can see Steph Curry, if it's not another NBA Finals, at least another Western Conference Finals, just high-level basketball. Of course, missed the majority of that second-round series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Played the beginning of Game 1, and that was the only game in the series they ended up winning. So, it sucks, man. Injuries are the worst. Speaking of injuries, my franchise superstar right there who just hit that jump shot, it's going to be out all of next season as well. So, I'm really hoping Steph's able to get one more, man. I know he haunts my team to this day, but even just the basketball fan in me really wants to see him get one more championship. So, that's going to cap this one off. Let's see if we can get Steph Curry another Finals MVP. We end up sweeping the Boston Celtics out of their own building, and yes, Steph Curry does get, that would be his second career Finals MVP, and I believe his 5th championship. All right, this one was fun. It was a really, really fun video. Of course, I don't love doing 2-year rebuilds, but when Steph Curry retires, I really don't have any other choice. I mean, you can't blame the man, even though he's playing at an elite level still. He kind of done everything you need to do in basketball, so... All right, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. Of course, always open to anything and everything you guys are looking to see. Very busy couple of weeks ahead. Of course, the season is going to, slowly but surely wind down. We'll have a new champ, everything like that. And then the draft and free agency will be here before you know it, man. So that's going to do it for me. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.